Okay, I'm back in the shop with the 1972 Jawa. It's getting into pieces. I've already taken the carburetor apart once, but I wanted to video this because it's pretty unique. So it's a 2-cylinder bike. There's the 2 plugs, but it's only got the 1 carb. And let me see if I can do all this with video hand. So this tube here comes from the gas tank, and you can see there's all these other auxiliary tubes. So this guy goes into here, and that's an oil pump, and then this connects in with the carburetor, and that adjusts something inside. This is totally unique to me. Never seen a carburetor like this, and putting it back was one of the most difficult things I'd ever done, just because there's springs and pins, and yeah, it's much harder than a regular carburetor. So pretty basic, it just bolts right on in between the 2 cylinders right here. So again, I've already taken it apart once, so I'll just take this guy off here, and then he pops right off, right, and that's where it goes in. You can still see there's a bunch of crud. I'm trying to clean it as I go. And then there's this system, and that cable, let's see if I can get the light in there. That cable adjusts how open and closed that valve is in there, and that also the other side of this oil pump connects up to the throttle cable. So the throttle doesn't go to the carb, the throttle goes to the oil pump and then into the carb. Okay, so I'm going to adjust and try and take this apart a little bit, and I'll show you again in a second. Okay, readjust a little bit. So now I'm going to take this guy off, and we'll show you what's going to happen here. Sorry I'm so shaky. I'll have to let you know that it is about -10 Celsius in here. Yes, I'm in Canada. Celsius. Sorry, guys. So this whole mechanism pops out of the carburetor. Sorry, this is really hard to do one-handed. This whole mechanism pops out. Don't want to break anything. Hold on, I'm going to set you down for a second. Okay, there we go. So you can see that sort of piston came right out of the carburetor. Red shoes, right? And then the cable connects under in here. Yep. And there's the spring. That's why it's so hard to take apart, or put back together, actually, I should say. So I'm going to go one step further and take that apart. I'm going to set you down a second. Okay, great. So now you can see there's that piston with the pin right there, and there's the spring, and then here's where that cable comes through and adjusts that piston height with your throttle. Pretty crazy mechanism. I'm going to open this guy up as well, because that's where the gas goes into it, and I'll show that as well once I get that cracked open. Okay, so here's that carburetor again. Yeah, it's a pretty strange carburetor. I do have to say that this is a 2-stroke, and that's probably... I've never worked on a 2-stroke, so this is all new. And this container here, it's pretty similar to other carburetors where this is the float mechanism. Here's the one marking on there that I can see. Sorry, it's upside down on the camera, but it says ICOV. So I'm going to have to look this up and see what all these adjustments are, because I'll show you the adjustment screws as well. So you take this guy off here, and here's what the bottom of that looks like. So the fuel in, and then this just looks like it's some sort of big cool float mechanism. I'm going to carefully pop that out. You can see that. A little float, and then of course all the gunk in the bottom that needs to be cleaned. So this is kind of cool. I'll just take that out, that way I can flip it around and show you all of these cool little adjustments. So again, it's a 2-stroke, probably also why there's so much crap all over this carb. And I'm imagining these are air, oil, and gas intake adjustments. You can tell I've got a lot of cleaning to do. But, I mean, it's a pretty simple carburetor, so hopefully it won't be too hard to restore. Not too many pieces to it, it's just really dirty. And putting the spring back in with the cable is pretty complicated. Other than that, pretty cool. Interesting bike. So then here is the carburetor. Put back together, all cleaned up. I don't have the cable attached in because I'm not going to put it back on the bike yet, because all of that and all of this. I'm still got a lot of work to do, but I'm going to take the carb off, take a look at it. It's all cleaned up. All the stuff on the inside is clean. You can see all that gunk from around those adjustment screws. The cool thing is that there's like hardly anything to this, so like carb restoration done. It was about an hour. That's it. The float works. This cool little thing I think is some sort of prime. Again, I'm gonna have to look at the manual on this online. Obviously I'll get a new tube for it, some new hoses, but yeah, it's fully operational as far as I can tell. So there we go. Carburetor from a 1972 Jawa. Apparently it's an ICOV brand. We will look that up later. Great.